So I might, call 2 painters, and they're both going to meet me at the same time. We're going to walk through the full property at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I'm only giving a directive of what the scope of work is going to be once. And I'm also setting the tone that like, I have options and you better bring your best price to me. That's another great way we've had success.
Well, that also, though, brings back that clarity in that the same message gets delivered to more than one person, mm-hmm. exactly the same, or the same questions get answered the exact same way.
And I know as a woman in this space, it has helped me set the tone early on mm-hmm. of the project of making sure they understand, you're going to have to be taking direction from me. And are you okay with that? Can you handle it? Can you keep up? So when it comes to real estate and design, your network is essential to your success. So today, if you are an investor, you're going to want to listen to this episode. We are going to break down how your network can equal your net worth, especially when you're looking to get the maximum ROI on your project.
Yeah, having the right people on your team, the right tradesmen to work with, can make or break your project, make or break your return on that design. Because the right guys in there can definitely make something shine, but the wrong ones can definitely cost you a whole lot more. And I know I've made that mistake once or twice. So.
And your network should not just be for one-off projects. We want to break down how to build longevity in your relationships. You can do lots of projects together.
But also the guy that when you're in a bind, somebody you can call that can help you out, whether they can actually come fix it for you or they can recommend somebody who can help you.
Yes. Having a Rolodex of trade professionals you can call and pick their brain about specific topics that they're experts in is going to help you in all aspects of your business. It's going to help you determine how much you should be paying for your projects, how much you should be investing in your projects, and how much you should be expecting when you're done. So everyone always wants to talk about ROI, but most people are overlooking where ROI really comes from when it comes to, flipping houses, whether it's single family or multifamily. It really doesn't matter.
It kind of comes from who you have, like you said, in that Rolodex.
Yeah.
When you know who to call, you have an issue, you've got trusted people you can call. You have multiple people because, you can't rely on one guy. You can't, tile guy. You can't rely on one tile guy all the time because he's got other jobs too. He may be on a current job for you now, and you're going to pull him off of this one to go step onto this one and try and finish it. No.
Yeah, sometimes definitely if you want to scale too, you've got to have, I don't want to say options, but options. People you can call to get things done on your schedule, not on everyone else's.
Yeah, exactly. We've had several guys that we've been able to call throughout the years of, hey, I need to get this done. Can you help me? Or can you recommend somebody? Our tile guys have done that several times. But we've also got, some of those contractors where it's like, hey, I have got to get this done this weekend. Mm-hmm. Can you help? And they've stepped up and really jumped in and finished a trim out or finished those last little details that really are going to set that part of this project off.
Yeah. Some of our best kept trade secrets when it comes to people are those who are really eager to grow. A lot of them are often already working for other people in different capacities, but they just want more. They want more opportunity. Mm-hmm. And they're usually hungry and available when we call, like, hey, got this little project, needs some help, and they're pretty eager to jump in, I would say.
But they're also the ones that pay attention to the little details. And have shown like their alignment in the way they want to conduct themselves in their business, what the service they provide is in very much alignment with the way that we expect and what we want to provide for our clients.
Yeah, which is actually a beautiful segue into the next point for today's discussion, which is how do we actually vet these people? How do we build this network of trades experts that help us succeed and really grow with us through the longevity of multiple projects over time?
Yeah, I mean, so many of our contacts have come through word of mouth, not the Google search, or, you want to go back in time, go to the Yellow Pages,
Well, and now it's social media.
Now it's social media.
Come on, babe.
True. Well,
social.
I mean, let's get into the 21st century, I guess, but I'm old school.
Yeah, not to say we haven't found some good partners on social platforms, but by far the bulk of good, reputable people.
Some of our best relationships have come from the word of mouth of people that we know and we trust, and then have built relationships with.
Yeah. Back to that point of finding the good people, word of mouth is always a good thing. But what about when you're new to an area as an investor or even a designer? I mean, we've experienced this firsthand where we've taken on remote projects and have to kind of build up a whole new network of tradespeople to work with. And that can be
a little bit more time consuming in building some of that. But I think
I wouldn't agree with the time consuming aspect because you're still vetting people. Yeah. So when you're going into a new territory and you're having to start fresh from the start, how to build the right team. In my experience personally, it has been knowing enough about the trade yourself to be able to vet real time. Because a lot of people will lead with the notion that they know all the things. And if you know nothing, you'll fall for it every time. But if you have educated yourself along the way, that you can actually have a conversation with an expert in that level of trade and have enough intellect about the topic that you can start to kind of weed out, I don't know if this joker really knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. This guy's he really knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. So it can require a little more time, but anytime you're building new relationships, whether you're local or not, you have to really have that same approach. And all of it's going to take, time.
Yeah, I guess I was trying to say it takes a little bit more time, or it can be a little bit more time consuming in that when you're in your local market and you have people, you have references of people that there is a level of vetting that's already kind of happened in that process. But when you're going into a new area, you have to do a little bit more of the vetting on your own up front, and have a little bit more conversation. But having clear conversation, and to your point, knowing the subject matter that you're talking about, that you can speak with these experts,
and as a professional, professional investor or even a designer, being networked within your industry is key, because we've got investor friends that don't live where we live, and they might be in a different metropolitan area or even a different state. And having people you can reach out to and get those same word of mouth referrals is part of building that network.
As you have these conversations, and because you also understand part of the trade itself, you're able to sit there and you're honing your own skills so that you can tell, is this guy going to be worth the investment to continue working with, or is he not? And all you're doing is saving yourself in the long run time and effort and your investment, your money.
And I would add to that with, back to our Rolodex concept of things happen, whether it's good or bad. If something comes up and your flooring guy can't finish, you need to have somebody else you can call to come in and take over. We even have really good relationships with people who they will give us a referral for their position.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he had to go out of town or the project ran late. Okay, who do you recommend finish the job that we've hired you to do? And they'll actually give us referrals that way as well.
Yeah. And remember too, that just because you didn't, you're going to have contractors, or you're going to have people that you work with, tradesmen, that, it didn't work on this job that they got this one. But, if they were somebody you found was worth having around, it's like, they may be the right fit for the next job, because again, this guy may be tied up and you need the next one to help come in and keep projects moving and working, or, something happened and I need somebody that can come in and finish for me.
What about the investor who is like brand new to the scene, and they don't really have a network of people yet? What would you say, Justin?
Trying to build some of those networks. I mean, one industry, or one area that I'd say to go to is go to the supply stores. Go to where you guys are getting the supplies, be it your tile guy. Go to the tile shops. The guys working at the tile shop, selling the tile and the mortars and all the things for that, they're actually a really good reference for who is in there regularly, consistently.
Who do they refer?
And who are some of the, it's easy to find some of the big names of builders and things like that. And hey, who are some of the guys that may be working? Oh, you do work for them. I know that name. I see them a lot. That,
And even driving as a new investor, okay, you can drive to an area of your town or whatever place you're working in and go to where they're actually building.
Yeah. I've found a few guys that, driving around, pull up on a job site. Hey, got a question.
Yes.
I'm working on this and I'm kind of trying to figure this out. Oh yeah, this, you can do it, and get into a conversation with them for 5 minutes.
Yeah. You're like, I need a framer. They're framing houses over here on block A.
Yeah.
Go over there.
Yeah. I've had the conversation. It's like, hey, I'm trying to figure this out. And oh yeah, if you did this and this, would it be something you think you'd be willing or interested in maybe helping me out with? And have found some great guys doing it that way.
Yeah.
Because, I'm not the framer, or I'm not the drywall guy or the brick guy, but I know enough. And this guy can sit here and have a conversation with me, tell me specifically. And oh yeah, we can help that. We can do that. Found some great guys.
Yeah, definitely. You got to put yourself out there, just like any beginning business, and just start networking. It's a great way to do it.
As you start to find people, you find these, you're building your network. One of the things that's inevitably going to come up is, how do you negotiate each job? Because everybody wants to focus strictly on price, but it's more than just the dollars. Sometimes there's the hidden values that you don't see just by the number, and that's where clarity and conversation comes into play, I think.
Yes. Yeah, knowing, educating yourself enough to have intellectual conversations about it. And another thing I love to do, especially when going into new territories, is have multiple bids happening at the same time. So I might, call 2 painters, and they're both going to meet me at the same time. We're going to walk through the full property at the same time. So I'm only giving a directive of what the scope of work is going to be once. And I'm also setting the tone that, like, I have options and you better bring your best price to me. That's another great way we've had success.
Well, that also, though, brings back that clarity, in that the same message gets delivered to more than one person, exactly the same, or the same questions get answered the exact same way.
And I know as a woman in this space, it has helped me set the tone early on of the project, of making sure they understand, you're going to have to be taking direction from me. And are you okay with that? Can you handle it? Can you keep up? Yeah. Can you keep up? And yes, I know what I'm talking about. So pay attention and get your numbers ready.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to want to see them at the end. Just to add to that too, with negotiations, knowing enough about it, right? Going back to the whole, making sure you're learning, and you can also glean from all of these people. Everybody you meet, whether you hire them or not, knows something you probably don't know. So pay attention and grab that low hanging fruit. It's going to help you in the long run. And part of knowing is going to help you also negotiate to know, okay, are you giving me retail prices or are you giving me trade prices? Because I'm not a retail customer. I'm going to be a repeat trade customer. I know what things cost and you can do better on your labor.
Yeah.
I'm not just, a residential person down the street.
And that also helps you build that network of guys, people that you really continually rely on.
Yeah. And it will help you determine, does this painter, as an example, serve trade clients, or are they primarily looking for
the homeowner?
Yeah. The mass market client, which is fine. If that's who they serve, that's who they serve. It's not the right relationship for you. And being able to weed that out early, that's that whole communication, getting that clear expectation of knowing like, hey, this is what I expect to pay. Mm-hmm. This is the deliverable I expect. Is that something you can actually do?
Yeah. And it, again, also goes back to the guy that I know I can rely on. Like, hey, look, this isn't the huge job. I got just a small piece that I need repaired. I know you can come take care of it. You will come take care of it, but you also know that I'm going to call you when I have that next big piece. Mm-hmm. So I think that's perfect on moving into the kind of that next point of like maintaining these relationships. Mm-hmm. How as an investor or designer are you maintaining these so that you have these people to call? Yeah. Again, like being able to say, hey, I've got this small job and that can translate into more bigger jobs, them knowing that you're a repeat person and you're consistent in how we work together, how we communicate, how we pay, that goes a long way. And then the mutual respect that you build between each of you.
Yeah. Like valuing what they actually bring to the table and not taking it personal, like we always say it's how you finish. It's not how you start. And that couldn't be more true for construction and, doing like big cohesive trade stuff, because it's going to get messy. It's going to get real messy in the middle and it's a stressful process and people, expectations can get a little disoriented, especially at the end. So how you finish
sometimes.
Yeah, how you finish matters. And that's true with those relationship partners too, because you might have a heated conversation at one point, or you might have to correct somebody that's not doing whatever you want them to do, or you expect of the services you've hired them to do, but it's not personal. It's not personal, it's business, and how you finish matters.
Yeah, I mean, it's some of those conversations, it's, hey, I've hired you to do it this way, like you said, and that's not what you're doing. So let's get it fixed. Let's get it taken care of, corrected now, and we can continue to move forward. Mm-hmm. I mean,
and we've navigated that as partners, business partners, but also as a married couple.
Oh, yeah.
Where, sometimes it's like Justin knows I can't deliver that because it's going to come across totally different from a woman. And it's going to seem more emotionally charged than it really is. So sometimes Justin knows the fullness of how I think or feel about the situation, but he's going to execute it better than I am. And it doesn't even have to be that way in if you're not married and you're working with somebody, but like knowing your strengths and knowing
your own weaknesses.
Yeah. Or shortcomings. Like if I say this, it's going to have a totally different outcome. So you should probably say this because I might run this guy off.
But also on that same context of, I know I've been guilty of trying to give somebody a little bit too many chances, and you're like, come on, man, we got to get this done.
Right.
Like, this guy's not cutting it.
Yeah. If you're a little more inclined to, give people the benefit of the doubt, or, he just keeps having all these problems, let's just give him one more chance. Yeah. It's like, well, not today. So we'll give you one more chance maybe on the next project when you can prove yourself again. But for this one, you're done. We've got to move on. Being able to, again, tap back into that Rolodex, get the wrong people out, get the right people in, and have enough fluid movement as you continue to build that you can keep going.
Yeah. Brings up a good point. Like sometimes just because you've got this tradesman in there and not every job is going to go just perfect smoothly. Some things happen. I mean, life happens. And there are times where, somebody just has something that's coming up and it is starting to kind of affect maybe the quality. And maybe they just don't need to be the right person for that job and you need to bring somebody else in. That doesn't mean that they're gone. They're done. They're never going to work for you again necessarily. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think sometimes that grace comes in of like allowing life. But this is also our business and we have to move forward and they have to understand that. But just because they're removed off this job doesn't mean I'm not going to bring them back for another job down the road when things have cleared up and, like you said, you prove yourself on the next one and we go on.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a small industry really as an investor. And it really seems like most industries function this way, but we've been burned by tradesmen who think, oh, we'll never see you again. Or I don't know what they think, but point being, that's sort of the projection, right? Yeah. Of like, oh, I'm not actually going to come and clean up this last little bit that I should. Instead, I'm going to run off, and they think that's not going to taint them, but it will. And it's something as an investor, you have to keep in mind too, when things don't go necessarily the way you want it, like how you finish matters. And it doesn't have to be the end all be all if you have to make an adjustment.
And remember sometimes that finishing, like when, I've had several business relationships over the years, even, back into my corporate, where it's like, this job is just not going well. And having that conversation of, look, this one's not working. I know you're trying. I can see that, but this is not working. We've got to make a change. And then, come back on another project and it's like, hey, remember last time that we worked together, we had these issues. We've got that taken care of, right? And then that next job they got just completely knocked it out of the park. Like, couldn't ask for a better outcome. And it's like, okay, so we had an issue then. Okay, that's definitely in the past. And look, now we're moving, we're rolling.
Yeah, and as the investor too, you have to really continue to grow and develop in communicating your expectation if you're going to be able to scale around building strong teams, because we've seen this on design side of things and investing where we can't read your mind and people can't read our mind. Like, you have to be able to have that expectation clear up front, so that you can actually collaborate and work together. Because if not, you're just going to end up frustrated and no one's ever going to be able to make you happy anyways. And, good luck trying to build a team with that narrative. From a scaling perspective, we've seen investors who, have told us, oh, it's hard to do this full time. It's hard to break into this full time. And a lot of that boils down to scalability, because
you're relying on a very small pool of people to do everything for you all the time.
And you're not learning enough along the way. Like, you might be relying too heavily on one contractor to manage the whole thing, to manage all the crews. And then you become subject to, their timeline, their business structure. And I would agree. It's probably really hard to scale that way. But if you really want to scale your network so that you can take on more projects and have better control over that ROI and everything that comes along with the timeline of the project, then, building that Rolodex, maintaining the good relationships, finishing strong. If things don't work out for this project, it's not the end all be all. Is there something we can do in the future together where we can continue to grow?
I guess trying to wrap that up a lot. There's a lot of things. It seems like a lot of things that you have to do as an investor. You've got to kind of be able to understand or know a lot about everything that you're doing, but you've also got to know who to call and when to call, or how many contacts do I have, and when do I call who, and how do I keep this guy happy because he wants all the work, but I can't give him all the work. The more clear that you are with whomever you're working with, whatever trade or designer or client, then the better off you're going to wind up being, because you can be clear. The expectations are set. And I
don't know if we've highlighted enough, but it's just as you're talking, the need for a mentor in your network is key. Everyone should have somebody who has gone before you, whatever you're trying to achieve, an investor who's wiser than you, or a builder who knows more than you, or, whatever your mentor looks like. You should have that person that you could call within your network.
I don't think it's just one.
Agree. Because they are going to help multiply that effort of establishing a good network and having someone to, confide in, so to speak, when things maybe come that you're not expecting, which is really what this podcast is all about. This is like part of your Rolodex of network, where you can come and hear real time what it's like in the space and what we really go through and what we've learned, that we can then help guide you in a direction that, you can take an actionable step for your success. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we have a great mentor who was a builder. Mm-hmm. We've got lots of real estate investing mentors who we glean from, and we've learned tremendous things from and continue to learn.
Yeah. And we also have our, along with the builders and the investors, we have, tradespeople that we continually learn from, or can glean things off of, so that we can better be equipped for that next project, that next flip, or that next design client, and how to accomplish whatever goal.
Right. And that is essential for scalability.
Mm-hmm. And so, but you've got to maintain those relationships. And it doesn't mean necessarily that you're always, this is the guy that gets the work, but it's
or that you're always going to see eye to eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is totally okay.
True. But those relationships are built on a foundation of trust. They're built on a mutual respect. Mm-hmm. I listen to what you have to say. I hear you. I may not always agree with what you're saying, or I may have a question and ask to look at something differently. And yes, we've had some of those hard conversations with each of them. But we work through that, continue to work forward, and grow and learn. All of us do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with that, just remember, you're not just hiring labor. If you view people as purely labor, you're never going to build long-lasting relationships. You're hiring experts in their trade, and you're building a collaborative team that's going to make you more successful. And that is how your network will grow and those relationships will flourish. So if you like what you heard today, you feel motivated to build your team, make sure you have a mentor apart from us, and follow along, subscribe if you haven't already, because we have so much more content we'll be sharing every week.
So hit that like button, follow, subscribe, check us out on social media, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Thanks for joining.